A few years ago, I sat down with the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar organization where the CEO wanted to reinvent the business, wanted to think about taking something that's a true legacy business, a 60-year-old business, and said, how do I think about digital at the core? But what was interesting about the CEO is he fundamentally had some very interesting perspectives on how to achieve digital at scale and what are some of the characteristics he and his organization need to actually have. Well, first, he talked through the concept of, I need to invest without fear. He actually said, look, at the end of the day, digital remains nascent. Digital is something we have to invent ourselves as we go through the process. Well, that means we need to invest. That means we need to drive the value out of digital. And we have many examples in the industry, such as GE that decided to create and invest in their GE digital business and the success that they've been able to achieve with that. Or you've got an example of Allianz that decided to invest in its global digital factory that it launched in Munich and created that capability. He also talked about how he needs to infect his organization with the digital mindset, right? It's not just about, hey, I've got to figure out what digital means to my company. Instead, let's actually figure out a way to make it infectious and exciting and something that everybody wants to be a part of so that I can drive digital transformation at scale. Again, if we look at it, the examples of GE and Allianz, they created these digital capabilities and digital centers in, whether it was in Munich or San Ramon, to actually get the rest of the organization excited about it. These organizations came in, the rest of the organization sees what's happening in these particular locations, understands that there's a new way to engage with customers, a new way to actually work with their products, their services, and how they take it to market, took it back to the rest of the organization, took it back to how they are going to operate now, tomorrow. There was also the element of, how do you get the people equation right? So when I speak with CEOs, what they say is, we need to rethink our people strategy. We need to rethink who we need in place. This concept of the chief digital officer role was born over the last few years to be that leader to drive that change. And these are not just technologists, they're not just operational folks or organizational folks. They bring all of that together to say, how can I drive digital at scale within my organization? So the people quotient is something CEOs quite often talk about to get right when it comes to digital. CEOs today are also talking about new sets of metrics that they want to measure when it comes to digital transformation. CEOs typically look at things like revenue and their balance sheet and cost and operating model. However, what they're now asking the question around is, what is the customer satisfaction and the customer engagement with our products and with our services? What is ROAS, the return on advertising spend, and are my marketing dollars actually going as far as they need to go? What is our click-through conversion rate? And are we actually seeing the right impact with what we're doing with our channels? Digital now unlocks new sets of customers. So as they think about scale, they think about the scale at which they're touching and interacting with customers that they didn't used to interact or serve yesterday. That is a new measure that has come about to think about customer engagement at scale in markets that were not traditional to the organization.